Joe Burrow is the exception. The ability to go to a bad franchise and carry it. We all get that's the exception. For Kenny Pickett, this is perfect. Stability, a football coach, Mike Tomlin, that's never had a losing record, good receivers, found their back, have a tight end, great defense. This is perfect. And Kenny Pickett's not viewed as Joe Burrow. He is viewed more like Mac Jones. Come in, surround him with stability. He can manage. He is much more trailer than tractor. He's not going to pull you somewhere. He's got to be kind of pulled. He's 24, so he can play now. He's a 4-year starter, so he can play right now. Mitch Trubisky, we thought he was a bridge quarterback, may very well be a backup quarterback. That's what it feels like to me. They got Kenny Pickett to start. And I will say this, of the 5 or 6 other quarterbacks that will be taken over the next day or weekend, I highly doubt any of them get this situation. A coach that's never had a losing record? I mean, what's the Steelers' weakness? Yeah, their offensive line could be better. They addressed it last year. They'll address it this weekend. The other thing is, when I watch the draft, is when you don't have a lot of superstars in the draft, and I don't think it has one. What really becomes important, Chase Young was going to work anywhere. Right. We kind of knew that. It's Patrick Mahomes. Eventually, we found out, well, that would work anywhere. Kansas City helps. Joe Burrow, was going to work anywhere. Andrew Luck was going to work anywhere. But if you don't have that in this draft, what really becomes important is fit. And there were 4 or 5 players I thought really, very fortunately, found the perfect spot. Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan. Doesn't go number 1, not the pressure of the number 1. He goes number 2 to his local team. By the way, number 2 picks. Von Miller's a 2, one of the Bosa's a 2. 2's a good spot. Not a lot of pressure. Now he goes to Detroit. It's not a dominating culture. He's not the number 1 pick. He's a local kid. They're going to be rooting for him, fan favorite, and I kind of like their momentum. The other kid is Jordan Davis, the kid from Georgia that goes to Philadelphia. I thought that was a great landing spot. First of all, he gets to play next to Fletcher Cox, who is just a great guy and a great player. Philadelphia also has a history of drafting defensive linemen doing very, very well at that position. They may miss on receivers. They are good on defensive linemen. So, again, not a lot of pressure, not a top 10 pick. He comes in, plays next to kind of a all-time, interior line guy. He's going to learn from him. They're not going to demand day one that he's dominant. Great place to land. I thought Baltimore had 2 kids. Kyle Hamilton, the safety, Tyler Linderbaum, the center. Both come in. Again, I thought they were great value picks. They'll both be starters. It's a position of need. You have a great owner, organizational stability. They won't have to star. They'll be given a year to kind of figure things out, bail a little water. They may get overwhelmed initially. It's perfect. And then there's Kenny Pickett. They've got the receivers in Pittsburgh. They got a great young tight end, an excellent young running back, a front 7. He doesn't have to carry the franchise. He doesn't have to be in shootouts. Pittsburgh's defense is elite, and Tomlin's an elite defensive coach. What they need is somebody to come in who's got a better arm than the guys they have right now, can move a little bit, who's got a lot of college starts, and will be comfortable day one. It's exactly what Kenny Pickett is. When you have a draft that doesn't have a lot of star power, landing spot becomes crucial to success. And I thought between Aiden Hutchinson, Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton, Kenny Pickett, and Tyler Linderbaum, great fits. I would be shocked if those guys didn't do really, really well. And who knows? Maybe some of them do become stars. A lot of people think Jordan Davis. I have 2 executives who I trust. Both thought Philadelphia got a home run. They're like, that may be the best mid-round pick of the draft. So congratulations to a very emotional Kenny Pickett. And if I have to hear about his hands anymore, can we get past the hands thing, folks? I'm just overhearing about Kenny Pickett's hands. On Mother's Day, you often struggle for the moms. What's the perfect gift to get her? Oh, my God. They went and got Hollywood Brown. All those NFC teams. Arizona this morning, watch out, man. That's fun. All NFC teams, all went for speed, all took big risks, and Green Bay did not. Now, I will say this. Jimmy Johnson, as good a football coach as we've had, maybe ever, and a great personnel coach. Unlike Belichick, he could draft. I asked him a couple days ago on the show, ever struggle in the draft? He goes, yeah, one time when I had an older Dan Marino and I started reaching to find pieces to help him. Green Bay's like, Aaron, you're 38. You've talked 50-50 retirement. We're not going to reach to appease you. And I should say this, and we should all acknowledge this. Outside of the Jordan Love pick, they draft pretty well. Green Bay drafts pretty well. They develop pretty well. I didn't love A.J. Dillon as a second-round running back. It's a good pick. A good player. They draft and develop. And so I look around this morning. I mean, New England can't draft in the first round to save their life. They took an offensive guard. I made 2 calls to 2 executives. You know what they said? They said we have him as a 3rd-round grade, both of them. Super Bowl winning GM and another great playoff GM. So listen, if you're Aaron Rodgers, and he didn't complain about it, and the Packers just historically, they don't go for running backs. They don't go for tight ends. They don't go for wide receivers in the first round. But it's one of those things when you're a great quarterback. You want everything, but no quarterback gets anything. Joe Montana, I got the world. Yeah, but he had Steve Young breathing down his neck. Brett Favre in Green Bay, it's my world. He had Aaron Rodgers breathing down his neck. Tom Brady had the rigidity of Bill Belichick. Russell Wilson's got everything. Ciara, he had a 70-year-old defensive coach. Patrick Mahomes, he's got everything. Well, I don't know. You seen that division? Just lost Tyreek Hill. Josh Allen, Colin. Josh Allen has everything. Really? You ever seen the weather in Buffalo in November, December, and January? He'll be playing in blizzards. He'd probably love to play at Arizona. Love to play in a dome. No quarterback, even the all-time greats. Joe Montana had Steve Young breathing down his neck. Tom Brady was complaining constantly. They didn't take his opinion in the game plans. Russell Wilson's coach was the wrong side of the ball. It does feel like Matt Stafford for this little tiny moment's got everything. Something will go sideways here. Maybe the offensive line, they'll draft poorly and he'll be running for his life. Aaron Rodgers has a pretty darn good life. He's always had very good offensive lines. He's had back-to-back offensive coaches. Green Bay's not a major media market. He mostly gets favorable coverage when he goes to work every day. They always tend to draft well at wide receiver, and I suspect today they'll go out and find some. It's not a perfect world. Quarterbacks in America are the most powerful people in the world in sports outside of an occasional international soccer star and an NBA star. Jan is probably now pretty powerful. But Aaron's in that class of 5 or 6 guys who are going to get their way most of the time. But even for Montana, even for Brady, there's always something you got to deal with. In Green Bay, they're not going to do what Jimmy Johnson did with Dan Marino. They're not going to reach to appease a 38-year-old quarterback. When Aaron said I'm 50-50 on retirement, Joy is my witness. I said, don't say that publicly. I could be 50-50 retirement. You don't say it publicly. My bosses are like, well, it's time to find a replacement. I thought that was a huge mistake, and I think Mark Murphy pointed out in the last month, the president of the Packers, we do not have a 3-year deal with Aaron. We have 3 one-year deals. We're not going to reach. It's not who we are. It's not our blueprint. And by the way, we keep winning our division and getting to the playoffs. There are worse things in the NFL. All right, it's my big picture on the Packers. So I want to talk about something. We all kind of knew. I thought I had so much fun watching the draft. Isn't it funny that we didn't have much of a build-up for the draft? But the draft itself with all the trades was so much fun to watch. So a lot of time you have 4 or 5 star quarterbacks and nobody makes any trades. This thing is you didn't have a lot of star players. So Kenny Pickett went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was great. That was a really touching moment.